If Wilhelm Wundt was the father of psychology, then William James was the cool uncle who thought the lab was just a little bit too stuffy. Welcome back, y'all. Last time we talked about Wilhelm Wundt, the man who wanted to freeze your thoughts in a lab and study them like ice cubes. But across the Atlantic, an American philosopher turned psychologist named William James was looking at those same ice cubes and shaking his head. James famously said that trying to study a piece of a thought is like trying to study a piece of a river. The moment you scoop it out, the river has already moved on. He didn't care about what the mind is, he cared about what the mind does. Why do we get jealous? Why do we remember embarrassing moments from 10 years ago, but forget where our keys were 10 minutes ago? Welcome to the world of functionalism, where the most important question isn't, what is it, but how does this help me survive? William James didn't start off as a titan of science. In his 20s, he was in fact a bit of a mess. He suffered from bouts of deep depression, back pain, and what they called neurasthenia, basically a nervous exhaustion from trying to find his purpose. He even contemplated suicide. But he had a breakthrough by reading a philosopher who argued that free will exists, and James decided that my first act of free will shall be to believe in free will. Now, this personal crisis shaped his psychology. He became obsessed with adaptation, and he realized that if humans have evolved a certain way of thinking, it must be because that thinking serves a practical purpose. This shifted the entire focus of psychology from the structure of the mind to the function of the mind. James gave us one of the most famous metaphors in all of science, the stream of consciousness. Think about it. Your mind isn't a collection of building blocks or Legos that you can take apart. Instead, it's a continuous, flowing river. It's personal, always changing, and it's sensible. James argued that we shouldn't spend our time measuring reaction times to bells in a basement. Instead, we should look at habits. James called habit the enormous flywheel of society. He believed that our brains created neural pathways to make life easier. If you had to think about every single muscle movement required to tie your shoes every morning, you'd never get out of the house. Habits allow our conscious minds to focus on more important things, like finding food, finding a mate, or even clicking that subscribe button below. Now, this created a massive divide in early psychology. Wilhelm Wundt in Structuralism said, let's look at the atoms of the mind. How heavy is this sensation? But William James in Functionalism said, who cares? I want to know why that sensation helps you avoid getting eaten by a tiger. Now, because James was so focused on function, he opened the door for psychology to move into the real world. He paved the way for educational psychology to ask, how do we learn? And industrial psychology to ask, how do we work? And even animal psychology to wonder, do animals wonder? And if it worked, and if it was useful, James wanted to study it. This philosophy was called Pragmatism, the idea that the truth of an idea is really found in its practical consequences. Now, James once said that the greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes. So here's your functionalist challenge for today. Think of a habit that you have that drives you crazy. Maybe it's scrolling on your phone an hour before bed, or chewing your nails, or tapping your fingers. Instead of asking, what is this feeling? Ask yourself, what function is this serving? Is this numbing stress? Is it seeking a connection? Once you know what the function of your behavior is, you can find a better way to serve the desire you have. Now, if you care to share what that is, please drop a comment below. I'd love to know. If you've enjoyed this look into the stream of consciousness, give the video a like. It helps the algorithm realize that psychology is actually pretty cool. And if you're ready to see how these theories turned into the wild world of psychoanalysis next, make sure you're subscribed. I'm Laura, and I'll see y'all in the next video.